At that very hour some Pharisees came and said to him, "Get away from here, for Herod wants to kill you." And he said to them, "Go and tell that fox, behold, I cast out demons and perform cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I finish my course. Nevertheless, I must go on my way today and tomorrow and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet should perish away from Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, killing the prophets and stoning those who are sent to you. How often would I have gathered your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you would not. Behold, your house is forsaken, and I tell you, you will not see me until you say, 'Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.'"
In the chapters leading up to today's reading from St Luke's Gospel, we see how Jesus has already fallen out with the religious authorities of his day. He has actively denounced the scribes and the Pharisees for their greed, their hypocrisy, their double standards, and their hardness of heart. They in turn have condemned him for healing on the Sabbath. The more the crowds love Jesus and follow him, the more the religious authorities hate him and want him out of the way. So they try everything they can think of to get rid of him, denouncing him, trying to outwit him, attempting to expose him as a charlatan, and yet they fail at every turn. And so, by the time we get to the passage we heard this morning, the Pharisees have decided to adopt a different tactic altogether. This time, they are going to use fear. Having failed to silence Jesus or sideline him, they are now going to have a crack at scaring him off. And so they urge him to leave Galilee because they claim Herod is seeking his death. Fear is a very primal and visceral human emotion. Its basic function is, of course, to keep us safe from danger and to prevent us from behaving recklessly. Yet, at a human level, it can also be profoundly disabling, particularly when it is misplaced. Fear can affect us physically, mentally, and emotionally. It can reveal the worst and most shameful and selfish aspects of our personalities. It can distort our judgment, undermine our relationships, and impede our growth. My grandmother had an earthenware sugar bowl emblazoned with the motto, "He soars not high who fears to fall." I've often found myself reflecting on that saying, not because I have any particular desire to soar high, but rather because it reminds me always to look squarely at the nature of my fears which might otherwise prevent me from embracing a new opportunity or taking a new responsibility which has been presented to me. And it's certainly the case that there can be few things more liberating than to be liberated from fear. How interesting, then, that the most commonly repeated phrase in the Bible, in both the Old Testament and the New, are the words, "Do not be afraid." Fear can indeed be overwhelming, which is why it can have such a powerful and destructive hold over us. So, to return to our Gospel reading, how does Jesus respond to the Pharisees' attempts to frighten him away by passing on death threats? Not only is he completely unmoved by them, but he is contemptuous, referring to Herod as that fox, dismissing him as despicable, mean, and paltry. And what is the message Jesus instructs the Pharisees to pass on to Herod in reply? They are to tell Herod that Jesus will remain where he is, continuing his work of casting out demons and healing the sick for as long as he needs to. He will then depart for Jerusalem, because it is there, in Jerusalem, that his own destiny lies, a destiny that, as we all know, will paradoxically involve his own death anyway. Although the Pharisees failed to realise it, there is no point whatsoever in their trying to frighten Jesus with death threats, because that is where he is heading in any case. But more striking still, not only is Jesus unafraid, but as he looks towards Jerusalem and reflects on what awaits him there, his rejection and his own eventual death, his response is not at all the one we might expect. It is neither apprehension nor resignation. Bizarrely enough, at the precise moment when he has most reason to experience fear, in full knowledge of the worst horrors that lie ahead of him, the words that Jesus utters are words of the most tender compassion. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings. How utterly extraordinary. Not only is Jesus unfazed and unbowed by the power and the authority of those around him who seek to do him harm, not only is he completely unafraid to look death, the greatest human fear of all, squarely in the face, but he can actually look beyond all of that to express compassion for those who seek to destroy him. One of the strange ironies about tyrants throughout the ages, including Herod the king, is that they are characteristically marked by weakness rather than strength, and are in thrall to fear. People of real authority have no need to impose their will by means of violence or force. They have no need to secure their position through dissimulation and deception, as tyrants do, because they are neither paranoid nor afraid. In Jesus we see the life of a man who is truly free, and the reason why he is truly free is because the focus of his life is clearly and unswervingly fixed upon God and upon God alone, and for that reason he knows that there is nothing of which he need be afraid. And the same can be true of us, which is why learning to trust in God is so truly and profoundly liberating, because it teaches us that ultimately there is nothing of which we need be afraid, and thanks be to God for that.